Why did you take a photo? Well, the two of them were really going at it. Ever since I was a little girl, I always wanted to be a news reporter. I guess that part of me just kind of took over. Smells like a lie to me. Yes, I understand completely. Even now, I can't completely abandon my boyhood dreams. I still use my grandson to test my comedy routines on. So you wanted to be a comedian, huh? Not that it has any bearing on this. All I could do was use the camera. So I took the photo of the crucial moment and gave it to police. I mean, it didn't really look like a crucial moment to me, personally. Can I, like, present the photo? And say, like, no, that's not the crucial moment? Let's try it.
Objection!
Oh, it worked. Witness. When you said you took a photo at the crucial moment, is this what you meant? Huh? All I can see in this photo were two people facing each other. You testified that you saw the two of them starting to fight. Normally, that's the kind of thing you would refer to as the crucial moment. Why haven't you presented a photo like that? Well, you see, the photo we presented was the only one there was. But if you really wanted to capture the crucial moment, then what happened next? You must have taken a photo of it. No. My apologies, young lady. But Miss Faye's assertion is not without a certain amount of merit. Assertion. He can certainly downplay situation, can't he? I'm sorry. I'm a very bad girl. I used it all up. The film, I mean. You ran out of film? This photo was the last one. What? Unfortunately, that is the truth. I personally examined all the photographs she took that day. All the other photos are the witness herself, playing among the wildflowers. The witness herself? Then who took the photos? Well, you see, my camera has a timer feature built into it. So you took the photos of yourself? I remember taking some photos of myself once too. Please, no details. Too many old judge dick pics. Wait, just a minute. Well, if she had no film left, she couldn't very well take more pictures, eh? Miss Foster, perhaps then you could tell us about a different sort of photo. Photos of the incident that you took with your own eyes. Mr. Edgeworth, you're quite the poet. Very well then. Let's get back to the cross-examination. Let's hear your thoughts on the fight that you witnessed. Yes, Mr. Judge. Boy, this guy really is a sucker for sweet talk. Huh. Looks like the other kitten in the room is the one that's getting all the attention. Yeah, it's sickening. Oh, do you want some? I was using my camera to take some pictures of wildflowers. Then I noticed there were two people standing up on the suspension bridge. Suddenly, they just started fighting. The victim turned around and tried to run away, but she only got about 10 yards before she was stabbed in the back. I don't believe you.
Objection!
Why would she run to her death? Witness, your testimony is a joke. Huh? What? But I just... Miss Faye, I thought I warned you not to make the witness cry. One short testimony and two bad contradictions. There's no possible excuse. You say there were two contradictions? It's simple. Just take a look at the diagram of the area. According to her testimony, the two of them were in the middle of the bridge. But if they were, and the victim had turned around and tried to run, well then, she would have hit a dead end. You said 10 yards, but she couldn't have run even 5, because dusky bridges collapse on that side. Wah-huh. What does all that mean? It's very simple, Your Honor. This charming little witness told a charming little lie. That's all there is to it. This beautiful young lady has been lying to the court. I had to punish her. Just a moment, Your Honor. Mr. Edgeworth? Your Honor, allow me to personally apologize for the confusion. What do you mean? There's one major mistake in this diagram. What'd you say? What are you referring to? It's all because the diagram was made after the incident occurred. It's a very old bridge. We couldn't find any official blueprints of it. So you're saying? I'm saying that even though the bridge is currently disrepaired, it wasn't at the time of the crime. There's no evidence that can prove that the bridge was broken during the incident. That's ridiculous. You can't actually tell the condition of the bridge from this photo. I apologize to the court for not being more clear when I presented the evidence. That guy's good. Huh? What do you mean? He planned it from the beginning. He's a genius, alright? That diagram of the bridge was his insurance policy. What? That coward. Well, Miss Fay, it seems you've once again made a reckless accusation. I'm so sorry. I should have been more careful myself. No, it wasn't your fault at all. Now then, shall we go on with the trial? I'd like to establish once and for all what it was that the witness actually saw. Indeed. Alrighty, young lady. May I ask you to please proceed with your testimony? But it's so hard to go on. We're all on your side, Miss Foster. There's no need to worry. Just tell us what you saw. Yes, sir. Running from the crime. After he stabbed her in the back, he quickly picked her up in his arms. Then he carried her over to the car. I suppose that was the only way he could make sure the body stayed hidden. He couldn't just leave the body on top of the bridge. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm only supposed to talk about what I saw. Witnessing such violence must have been difficult. Yes, sir. I'm still shaken up. If you accept this testimony as it is, we're finished. Don't say that. Oh well, maybe I'll stop off at my favorite cafe on the way home. They make a really great mocha latte. This trial isn't over yet. That's what I like to hear. Alright, Miss Fay, your cross-examination if you please. The contradiction is staring you right in the face, Mia. Go on and attack. Yeah, she wouldn't have been able to see that fucking thing. Also, no. No. You know the quickest way of getting rid of a fucking body and stay hidden? You throw it over the fucking bridge. A killer not wanting his victim to be found, I can understand that. I'm gonna do that later. However, the idea of moving the body for that purpose is clearly odd. There's a much easier way to make sure the body wasn't found. Well, what is it? Take another look at the map of the area and you'll see how. There's a river right below the bridge. Earlier, Mr. Edgeworth pointed out something interesting about the river. For those who not are aware, Eagle River is well known for its powerful current. Most bodies that fall in are never recovered. In the kidnapping case 5 years ago, the victim's body was carried away and never found. And he knew that. He would have just thrown her in there. If 10 murders were to occur at that same spot above Eagle River, you can bet your boots that every other killer would have tossed the body in the water. Order. I'm not sure if I care for the way you put that, Miss Fay. But I must admit, it does seem odd not to have thrown the body in the river. Well, Mr. Edgeworth? How sad. Perhaps Miss Faye would do well to try taking a dip in the river herself. After all, you claim to be an expert in the ways of nature. What are you talking about? My point is that no matter how odd you may find the killer's method of body disposal, the fact is that the killer did what the killer did. None of your arguments have anything to do with what the witness saw. Quite true. Miss Faye, it seems that your assertion is without merit after all.
Objection!
Shut up, Judge. But what the witness claims to have seen is totally ridiculous. Surely you can't deny that the body was found in the trunk of the car. That's certainly consistent with what the witness has told us. Please, witness, go on with your testimony. I'll try. All you have to do is tell us only what you saw. Otherwise, the mean lady might yell at you again. I wish the mean lady would fucking yell at me some more. Who is he talking about? Alright, I'll do my best. Are you saying that the victim didn't fall down on the bridge? Actually... Of course she didn't fall down on the bridge. If she had fallen down, this photo wouldn't make sense. If that was the case, her coat would have been all muddy.
Objection!
If you don't mind, I was asking the witness. No need to be so rude. Well, young lady. Of course she didn't fall down. The man in the prison uniform grabbed her before she could. What? Huh. We're one step too slow. And then what did the defendant do after that? And he carried her over to the car. You personally witnessed that? Yes. Did anything strange happen when he did that? Well, I don't know if you'd call it strange or not. But that's when the victim's scarf fell off. You mean the scarf? Her words match what we found at the crime scene. I don't see a problem. Of course you don't. Fuck you. You wouldn't have seen that. Literally wouldn't have seen that. You were behind this rock wall, unless Edward's gonna say, actually, that rock wall wasn't there at the time. Well, Miss Foster, it looks like you've done it this time. Done what? I've been a good girl. Made a crucial mistake. A crucial mistake? Like what, Miss Faye? The killer broke into the trunk of the stolen car and hid the body in there. You're saying you saw that, right? With your very own eyes? Yes, and? It's simple, Miss Foster. Take a look at the diagram. This place you claim to have taken the photo from the day is here. Do you see what I mean? Even if you tried to see the car, this outcropping of rock is directly in the way. That's right, Miss Foster. From where you were standing, you could not have possibly seen the victim's car. I admit that the diagram shows a large outcropping of rock, but that we have no guarantee that it was there. However, it wasn't so tall that it could stop her from seeing the car. That's right. It's not high at all. I was able to see his car just fine. Are you sure about that? I'm so sorry, but that just doesn't wash. What color? I believe it was the witness who presented this as evidence to the court, yes? This is the location that the photo was taken from. Your own photo tells the whole story. Yeah, it's too high. You can clearly see the left side of the bridge, but the outcropping that is being referred to is really more like a cliff. Huh. Ah. Your view should have been completely cut off by this cliff, but you still claim to have been able to see the killer's car. No. Order in the court. What is the meaning of all this ballyhoo? What? Fucking Canadians. Your Honor, don't jump to any hasty conclusions. The fact that the escapee fled in a stolen car was reported on the news. After witnessing a murder, I'm sure you can appreciate that the witness was very upset. She must have heard about the stolen car and convinced herself that she saw it. No, you can't testify that in court. But she was repeatedly warned before starting her testimony. She was told to testify only about what she saw with her own eyes. Oh. Mr. Judge? What is it? I think I must have remembered things wrong. Shut the fuck up, bitch. Hey, wait a minute. You can't just say that. Yes, you can. Miss Faye, no one on the face of the planet is perfect. Yes, indeed. Quite true. You know what they say. To err is human, to forgive divine. And I am divine. I'm inclined to give the benefit of the doubt to our witness here. What? That's not fair. Save the tears for later, kitten. Mr. Armando. Don't look back until the trial's over. Now's the time to go forward. But that wasn't fair. Okay, kitten, you need to relax. Then you need to remember the other kitten's testimony. The killer broke into the trunk of the stolen car and hit the body in there. So tell us, how do you know that? How did you know they broke into the trunk? Ah, until you can explain how you knew that, you're gonna have a lot of very suspicious people on this side of the courtroom. Well, witness? Well, I'm certain that he broke into the trunk. Because there are marks left on the trunk lid. I'm certain there are scratch marks from where he broke into it. What? Let me see that photo. Oh, fuck, there it is. There's no way you could have seen that, though. It's true. These certainly look like scratch marks around the keyhole. It's obvious that this trunk has been broken into. Well, Miss Faye, are you satisfied? No, not at all. The judge is on her side. I can't make any mistakes here. What she just said, is there a contradiction in there somewhere? No, it doesn't work. He had the car open. He could have just popped the trunk from inside the car. It doesn't work. Melissa Foster. It looks like you finally betrayed yourself. What? You said you were in a field taking photos of the wildflowers, but even so, you knew about the scratches. The question is when? When did you get a chance to see those scratches? Yeah, I mean, there's no way you would have seen that. You don't have that good eyesight. Finally, I finally got her. I'm getting pretty tired of waiting over here. Then perhaps it would be faster if Miss Faye explained herself. Your Honor, there's only one possible explanation. The reason the witness had seen these scratches was... She's the owner of the garden. No, she didn't happen past it. She put the corpse in there. There's only one way that the witness had the chance to see those scratches. Yes, what is it? Naturally. When she opened the trunk and stuffed the corpse in herself. The person who really had the body in the trunk of that car was Melissa Foster. It was you that did it, wasn't it? It's ridiculous. I could never. It was the man in the prison guard. He's the one that... I don't think so, Miss Foster. If Mr. Falls had been the one that put the corpse in the trunk, he could have simply used the car key. There was no need to break it open. But he stole the car. Yeah, he also stole the keys. He stole it from a young couple that had been waiting at a red light, which means that the key would have still been in the ignition. Oh, I see. Thank you for telling us about the scratches, Miss Foster. Without that, you never would have uncovered the truth. We would never have uncovered the truth. It couldn't have been Mr. Falls that put the body in the trunk.
No.
Preposterous to even suggest that the witness put the body in there. If that were true, then how do you explain the photo that she took? The corpse could only have been put in the trunk when the incident occurred. And we already know that at the time she was taking photographs. Now's your chance, Mia. Finish this thing. On the contrary, I'm not so certain that anyone about that anymore, Edgeworth. There's no need to think too deeply about it. What I'm saying is that the shutter for this may not have been pushed by Miss Foster herself. Yeah, because there's a timer. It's a digital camera. Well, except there's film, so it's actually not digital, but whatever. I don't think you can make a mistake about it. Take a look at a camera. It has a timer built into it with even a mini tripod. Almost as if the camera was brought just to take this picture. What are you trying to say, Miss Fay? That when the crime occurred, Miss Foster wasn't in the field as she claimed? Well, she really did use the camera's auto timer. Then the answer is yes, she was somewhere else. Exactly, she was not in the field. Will the defense explain further? Listen, this is a crucial point. Where was Miss Foster when the incident occurred? And answering that question will also make clear Miss Foster's true identity. Well then, please answer the question. Where is Melissa Foster when the incident occurred? She's not the killer. We know that for a fact, because that's what Terry Falls. She's gotta be her. We couldn't see who the person was. And she was wearing a lighter scarf, and not the blue one. Naturally, the witness was right here. But that's where the victim, Miss Hawthorne, was standing. No. You can clearly tell. Actually, can you actually tell that it's a completely different person? Not really. You can't be like 100% sure, but there's enough reasonable doubt for me. I mean, because that's not a blue scarf right there. That is most definitely white. Where was her hat as well? Order, Miss Fay, what on earth? Your Honor, if I may. After parting with the victim on the bridge, the defendant fled by car. But this would mean that there was no time to put the victim in the trunk. In other words, if someone put the body in the trunk, it could only have been before the defendant met with the victim. How asinine. Of course Mr. Falls met with the victim. The only person with the opportunity to put the victim in the trunk is the same man that killed her, Terry Falls. You still don't understand, do you, Mr. Edgeworth? By the time the witness's photo was taken, the victim was already dead. The person in the photo was not Valerie Hawthorne. What? I've never heard anything more ridiculous in my entire life. Then who exactly is the victim in this photo? It's obvious, isn't it? It's your own witness. Huh? What? It's the only possible explanation. The woman that Mr. Falls met on the bridge that day was not Valerie Hawthorne. It was you, Melissa Foster.
Me?
Let's remember that it was raining and foggy on the mountain that day. Mr. Falls himself believed that the woman in front of him was Valerie Hawthorne. But the defendant knew Valerie Hawthorne very well. After all, she was the woman whose testimony helped get him convicted.
Objection!
But since then, my client has spent 5 hard years in federal penitentiary. He couldn't remember exactly what she looked like anymore. You're just making this up as you go along. Where's your proof? I've got it all right here. This is the piece of evidence that'll blow this case wide open. At the time of the incident, Mr. Falls had forgotten what Valerie Hawthorne looked like. It would be the note. Mr. Falls had forgotten the victim's face. That's why he needed some piece of identification. Namely, this muddy scarf. Okay, it worked. Good enough. Ooh, that could have been really bad. It was Mr. Falls who requested that she wear the scarf to identify herself. That's already been proven by the note the victim left. In other words, as long as you were wearing a scarf like he asked, anyone could have pretended to be Valerie Hawthorne. Well, what do you have to say to that, Melissa Foster?
No.
Where's Miss Foster? She's collecting herself in the lobby. It's obvious that Melissa Foster did it. She hid the body in the trunk and disguised herself as the victim. She set up the camera to snap a fake photo of them together. And the question is, why'd she do it? Well, isn't that obvious? She's the true criminal. Huh. Well, we'll have to wait for Miss Foster to compose herself before we start again. Until then, this court's in recess. The defense and the prosecution are instructed to wait in the lobby. Yes, Your Honor. Understood. Very well, this court is in recess. Let's go ahead and save that. I'm sorry. I want to say thanks. You're really good. You really hooked me up. Thanks, we're almost there. Once I prove that she committed the crime. Yeah, but there's one more big obstacle we've got to get past. Obstacle? Yeah, motive. Why wouldn't Melissa Foster go the policewoman anyway? Motive, huh? Anyway, we're still badly in need of information. Information, right. What we need the most is info about this Melissa Foster herself. All we know is that she's a student studying literature. And one more thing. What is it? Well, the incident that happened 5 years ago, of course. The kidnapping murder case that Zebra Boy is on death row for. I didn't do nothing. I didn't kill nobody. I never lie. Mr. Falls, in that case, tell us more about it. About what happened 5 years ago. Okay, I trust you. Really? That day 5 years ago. I dream of it every day.